Hi, good morning. Welcome to the class today. So if you see this entire course content, we have completed all of that, to be honest. So the most of your CSA things have been completed except this last part, which is custom application development. And we'll just see overview quickly of mobile apps. Portal we have seen already. So mobile apps and virtual agent overview. I'll have to see whether mobile apps is something I can share on the screen right now. That we'll see a little later. And after that, your course will be completed officially. ServiceNow System Administrator, right? Then these things are the additional things which we are doing as a part of this whole course, which are not covered as a part of this course. But yeah, we will do that in our training just to give you some idea how to start a ServiceNow journey on ITSM. Because if you remember, we have talked about it, that ITSM is the first thing which any company kinds of implement on ServiceNow as a first thing, right? So this is where it will give you some idea around it. But that will cover tomorrow. So let's understand what is this custom app development. First of all, let us understand this concept. Why do we need custom apps? And what is custom app, right? So all of those applications like incident management, problem management, change management, IT operations management, discovery, service management, service mapping, event management, all of that we have talked about as a part of product and services. So maybe let me just open servicenow.com here. And let me see. So it is taking some time, I don't know. But anyways, so the idea is that whatever applications we have inbuilt in ServiceNow, which are offered by ServiceNow themselves, because if you remember, it is application platform as a service. So they already have some applications which we are using. ITSM is one of the suite which we use generally. So the idea is wherever you don't find anything related to this, right? So you want to do something completely different, which is not a part of their offering, default offering. For that, you might need to do some kind of custom applications. Custom applications means the applications which we are building internally for our enterprise. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is there is something called ServiceNow Store. We'll just take you to that as well. Yeah, so this is where you have applications and solutions given by ServiceNow. So these are more than the plugins which you already have in your plugins list, and we've seen it already. And in this case, you also have offered by partners. You have those application solutions. So what happens is whenever you have a product, so to compensate that product or to complement that product in terms of other functionalities which are not available in the out of the box version, some partners of ServiceNow, they develop something at their side and then they put it in ServiceNow Store. So if you were to take any application which is in store, which is here in ServiceNow Store and not available by default in ServiceNow, you can activate that as well and you can start configuring it as per your requirement. For example, Jira Integration is something you're looking for. If you find something here, fair enough. Let me see if there is something called Jira. So you have a lot of companies have, so you have this Jira service management scope. This is by ServiceNow integrations by default, right? So you can use this as well. So idea is custom apps are the apps which you build for your own enterprise, depending on the requirement. And they're not there by default in ServiceNow out of the box version. Now, before you start the journey, the first question you have to ask yourself, or maybe to your stakeholder, saying that if they have any requirement and as a ServiceNow consultant that this requirement can be completed by using this particular plugin or by using this application from ServiceNow Store, something of the sort, then you better suggest or recommend that part rather than developing something pure out completely from the scratch. You can do that. ServiceNow has made it quite easy in terms of custom app development. It is just a few single clicks and you can create an application from the scratch completely. That is where it's really interesting part to see. But then before taking that step, just see that is it actually required to create completely new application from scratch, or can you reuse something? Because for example, most of the things are related to tasks, task management, and you already have something for tasks. Maybe if you can just handle it there better, there is no need to get a new application or develop a new application from scratch, right? That's the whole idea. Now, having said that, there are still cases where you need to develop some applications based on the requirements. So what happens there, right? So you have something in ServiceNow which allows you to create application quickly, kind of no code, low code application, which is you don't need to do a lot of coding. You can just use existing now platform capabilities and you can create applications from that, right? How do you do that? So there are 2 or 3 ways you do that. I'll tell you that part also. Before that, you just see this also, right? You have something called, this is default chat global. If you remember, we talked about it yesterday. And this is your application scoping. Now, by default, we are in global, which means whatever changes I'm doing is applied to global ServiceNow instance, right? Now, this is where you enable this particular box that you go here in settings, you go to developer and you select show application picker in header. Similarly, if you remember, we did yesterday show update set picker in header. So based on that, this box was enabled. Now, because I have selected show application picker in header, that is why this box is enabled. I have selected applications global. There are so many applications ServiceNow. See this, so many applications. They're already there. It is just that we are not using them for day-to-day purposes. I think if I am using software asset management, I might need to do something here. These are all applications. So the idea of this concept is that it is, kind of scoping for you. For example, whenever you do something in global, which means it is accessible to everybody from all the applications, right? If you do something at an application level, this is where you call it as scope. Now, when you do that, which means that you are defining it for that particular scope. And when I say scope of an application, so if you remember, I think we have seen sometimes whenever we kind of were editing any tables or anything, right? It always asks us which scope do you want to do. Global is selected as default, but then you can select, you can change that scope wherever you want to change. Now, what does scope do? So first of all, scope ensures that so whatever I have defined in a particular scope application, for example, something if I have defined here, then it will be accessible only for those application scoping. So nobody else, no other application can access those things which are defined here or here. I mean, so the idea is whatever scope or application you're defining, this is where it will be restricted to that particular scope, right? So in your instance, if you have other applications, you might want to put a restriction that, okay, no, I just want to do this behavior only for a particular scope or application. I don't want to do it for everything. That is where you choose it. You can protect your applications. You do not allow anyone else to write your, override your things. For example, if you just developed an application of vaccination administration, right? You don't want incident problem changes or anything else that matter to play around with that application. Whatever you want to do, you're doing it in your own scoping and you're not hindering with their scope, nor they're hindering with your scope. This is where you are maintaining a privacy there. Naming conflicts. For example, I have created a particular form or table or view or menu there, which is only applicable to my application. So in that case, you will not have a conflict. Okay, something is defined in global. I cannot have the same name in my scope. I can have it as long as my scope is different, right? And one more thing is that whenever you create a new application, that scope is almost, so it is by default created along with that application. So that is the whole idea of the scope. So this is where, so in general English terms also, scope means that, okay, you tell me these are the things I have to do. And in this case, scope means that this will be valid for this particular application. And if I do any further changes, they'll not touch base with other applications in the instance. That's the whole idea of scoping, right? Now you can, as I said, you can develop an application using the applications in the ServiceNow Store, which we talked about. You can update some existing applications that are already there. So all of these are applications here, right? So if I just show you all of these are applications, so if I go inside it, it has a lot of menus, right? Modules inside it. You can update them, you can extend them, or you can create a new application completely from scratch. Now, how does it happen? For that, there are 2 or 3 ways. First of them is, I would say, let me just write the statement here. There are 2 or 3 ways. One is guided application creator. Second is studio. Third is app engine studio. With all these 3 options, you can create a new fresh application in ServiceNow. Right? That's the whole idea. Now, they are thinking to deprecate this one, so which means maybe in new releases it might not be available, but right now it is there. So let's see it. And then this is where I was talking about scope. So this is application A, this is application B, and you have table A, UI policy. So everything is completely restricted to this application, and there is no communication because you have put a lock there, right? You don't want to make anything. You don't want to do any kind of communication with them. Now, let's see how. So, which means we have understood, first of all, why do we need to develop custom applications? Second, what are those considerations we need to check before developing custom applications? And if then there is a requirement, then the good part is the power of the platform is leveraged when you actually develop custom applications, if that is absolutely required, because it is quite easy to develop an application from scratch. Now let's see how does it work. Now, if I were to go to my applications, sorry, my company, and I come here to my company applications. These are the ones which are already there, and you see all applications in, these are all the applications you have looked at. These are all in development. So which means you can play around with it. Now, can you see one more thing, that I am creating application from here, but I can edit it in Studio. I was talking about this part. I can do that. So I create application here, and then I later on edit it here. That is also doable. And that is the best way to do it, to be honest. So you should create the basic structure using guided application creator, but then later on you can actually update it using Studio. Now it will tell you how many of them are in development, how many of them are not installed, how many of them are installed category. So this is where you can see all the applications. You can see I have not installed anything from ServiceNow Store. That is why it does not tell me anything under installed category, right? Now, if I have to create a new application, and see what happens. I click on, and you can see find in store. So if I go here, it will take me to store. The same store which we're referring here, right? So from system itself, you have an option to. And then one more thing, right? So there's one more reason. Sometimes you have applications built in ServiceNow, but they may be quite costly in terms of licensing, subscription models. And you do not want the end-to-end functionality of the application. There are so many modules under an application. You have a lot of things to do. You don't want to do all of that. You just want a very simple feature, right? Just one or two things to do. So for that, you may not buy an entire application from ServiceNow because of the license cost or because of the subscription models. In that case, also you can create application here and you can do it. But even for developing custom applications, you also need licenses. It is not like you can do it by default, right? But yeah, so that will be a decision of the enterprise, that which is costlier, which is cheaper for them, right, in terms of maintaining it going forward. So if I click on create new, this is where it tells me, okay, design an application, right? I am just saying ServiceNow training to someone. This is the app I'm designing. So these see the option, right? General information, data, and design, and drag and drop. I can upload a logo if I have a picture, which I don't have right now. I could have done it, right? And I'm just putting, this is a name, and this is the ServiceNow training. Now see this here, right? Advanced settings, scope or global. If I do global, I don't have any name here. If I do scope, I have a name here. And whenever you do a scope, by default, it prefixes with X underscore some number, and then the first letters of your application name. So this is where now, if I have selected that as scope, which means whatever changes I am going to do in this application, you don't need to, you don't need to kind of worry about it, because they'll be restricted to this application only. If a application will require custom tables, ServiceNow recommends creating a scoped application. Creating custom tables has licensing implications also, which is very important, right? And you just learn about it there. So I just click on OK right now, and I just move here. Next, I click on create. Now it is asking me, do you want to use any existing roles, or do you want to create a new role? Do you see here, continue in Studio Advanced? So first of all, right now we are under guided application creator. If I click on this button, I will be removed from the screen and I will directly move to the Studio part, which I was talking some time back. So I'll show you that part also sometime. For example, I'm just creating a new role, training, just for the time being, right? I'm just clicking on it. So you can see the role has been updated accordingly. So same name was there, 623521. X is always there because you're creating custom application here. And then whatever your application name, it was So this entire thing is application name, and this is the role of the name, training, right? So this automatically happens. You don't need to worry about it. I click on create and I can select anything. For example, I think mobile. So this is where you add the experience, whether you want to open it for mobile or you want to do it classic. Right now we're doing classic account. And I click on continue. Now it is creating an application background so quickly that it has added a role. It has asked me the application name, it is asking the scope, and it is asking me whether you want to enable it for mobile or you want to do it for the desktop version, the normal classic version. And now it is creating a application for me. Now it is telling you if you need a new table, use the create new table button below. So let this box come up. So in the meantime, it is coming up. I hope you are clear in terms of there are 3 ways to create an application. I'm just reiterating that. One is guided application creator, second is studio, third is app engine. This is something which is quite recent in the game, and people are using it because it is quite user friendly in terms of creating a new application. We'll come to that part also in some time. Right now we are here. Okay. Now it is taking quite a lot of time. I will not take that much of time. Then yeah. Which data tables you want to use for this application? Generally, maybe let me open the new window. In the meantime, it is getting created, right? Now I can show you now this, and this is it, right? You can further design it. So maybe they're asking this question, okay, which table do you want to use something existing, or do you want to create a new table? And as I told you earlier, creating a new table will have implications to license. So for example, I just want to use a task table here, right? Let's see if there is a task table. This is the one which I want to use. And I can add more tables. It is a multi-list field, right? And I'm saying continue done with tables. This is the only table I want to add, maybe approval table, for example. This is the table I have used here. One more type, right? So I can use as number of tables I want. It depends on my requirement computer, and done with table, and this application is there. And then you can add more apps later. This is your classic application, and this is your application is ready. Now you can start. Now you can design. You can customize the design of the app. You can do a lot of things there. You can kind of this is what we have already done. So let's customize the design of an application, which you can do. So I will not go much into that detail because we don't need to learn the entire development here. The idea is that state is ready, which means your app is ready. You're done. Now, what do you want to do next? You can also create notifications. We have read. So this is where I was telling you again and again that the whole reason you have this certified system administrator course well designed, because it talks about now platform capabilities. Now it can be used anywhere. Similarly, all these things, notifications, layouts, policies, reports, business rules, client scripts, automations, integrations, you can do everything, whatever you want. Now, so to do this, you have to go to studio. To do this part, you have to go to Flow Designer. We have seen that also. And you can set up a new app as well, whatever you want. So we have done it. So now it will be reflected here, I guess. Let's see if the application has been reflected. Do you see this? Yes, ServiceNow training app. Now I can edit into Studio, right? I can do that. Now, because the next logical thing for us to do is to see the studio part. So that let's do that part. So now I am trying to open this application Studio. This is your studio, completely different interface. See this, right? It is completely different. It opens in a new window completely. Studio, file, source control window. This is entire developer thing which they can do here. Now these are the modules which are already there. So this is something we have created already. So application menu, service not training. Under that you have so many modules, task, open task, because we have selected these tables when we're creating it, right? And this is the rule which we have here. Now from here you can go to any file to application. This is easy. So these are some shortcuts which are showing you that how do you go to that area. You can create a new file. You can do a code search in any of your files, wherever you have codes, and you can close this current tab. So these are options. So whatever we are doing right now is we are doing in Studio, the second option. Now I can create here. I can click on create application file. I can create here, create new. Same thing will come. So create application file has come from here. If I click on here, then the same window will come. Now, interesting part. This is where the most interesting thing happens, right? Now, see this, when you create any, so which means just assume a fact that whatever application ServiceNow has given you already, like incident, problem, change, or request or whatever, they have actually done all of this. which means they have defined a data model. What kind of table structure do you want? Table column do you want? Many-to-many definitions, relationship between tables. They have talked about forms and UIs. So all of this we have studied. Most of that we have studied: list layout, list control, right? So this is where you kind of edit your application now, and you want to decide, okay, which list layout I want to use, which list control I want to use. So the idea I'm trying to convey here is that these are so many different things which you can do in your application, which ServiceNow also does when they create an application in the backend. So now it becomes so easy that you can select whatever I want, and based on that, I can configure things accordingly. That's the whole idea. Server development. So all those server-side scripting we talked about, business tools, script includes data policies, all of that is here. So whatever business tool you want to write, you can select it. These are all client-side scripting, client script, UI policies, UI scripts, all of these things we're doing at client level, all of these can be in here. So this gives you a very, I would say, a very interesting overview of things, that what all things are covered under ServiceNow in terms of overall application development. So this is where you can see things, right? Mobile Studio. You have launcher screen, you have a screen, now experience. You can also configure application experiences in your system. UX, how does the UI look like? Access control, roles, which are the public pages which can be done, right? So you have properties. I'll not go into one by one because I just wanted to give you a high level understanding. These are all different things. You can go properties, you can define properties, you can define navigations, you can define notifications, you can define portals. So many things are there, so many things, right? So it completely depends on us. What things do we want to service catalog? What kind of service catalog? Catalog, whatever you want to do in service catalog, you can do it from here. And all of these things are required. And this is what we have studied even when we were studying service catalog. We got user catalog, category, UI policy, variable set, execution plan, order guide, client scripts. We have seen all of that, right? So that is why now whatever we have learned, you can use it here. Yeah, I can tell you one thing for sure, that whenever there is a developer who is developing something from scratch, this is where he learns the most, because this gives you a very good platform in terms of a very holistic picture, which tells you, okay, whenever I have to develop an application, these are all the things I have to look into. Maybe I can skip a few of them if it's not required, but this is the overall set which I have to consider in terms of maybe integration, right? You have imports, you have REST APIs, you have web services, table transform maps, outbound integrations, export set, virtual agent. Which topics do you want to add for the virtual agent? NLU. So there are flow designers, your workflows, you have so many things, right? And then based on that, you can create a new application completely from here. Or this is where we are actually editing an existing application and be creating application files. Now, whatever is there, I can create it. That completely depends on me, right? So this is how you kind of do things from here, right? Now, from here, you can do code search as well. This go-to thing is here also. This code search thing is here also. And this create new is here. We just saw. So this is your studio where you use, which you use to create applications, or you use to edit an application which is created from guided application creator. This is second way of creating things or editing things. So did you now understand that these are so many things you need to consider for any application? It gives you very high level understanding. Okay, these are the things I am looking for. Now we have talked about this. Now let's see App Engine Studio, the third one in the category, because we have seen the guided application creator. We have seen this as well. So this again opens up in a new different window altogether. This is a more user-friendly interface. So this has been launched in the recent releases, I think in the last 1 or 2 releases. It tells you quick start. Okay, tell me, how do I start? I can import an app, I can create a new app, I can add a table. So all of those things we just saw there, right? All of these are here. So whatever apps I've created, ServiceNow training, you can see it here, right? I can see them, my recent apps. These are my templates, which I, for example, if there is a document approval app I have to kind of create, I can create here. I can use this template, I can use this, right? See all templates, performance review templates, schedule and manage employee performance reviews. So if I were to, for example, I can go here, my apps. These are all my apps which I've created. Templates, these are all templates which we have seen here. The resources. Same thing we just talked about, creating an application from scratch. You can do that. You can add data in your application, the flows, the experiences, how does the UI look like, right? Layouts, and all those things you can do. Automations you can do, flow designers. So all of that you can do. It is just a better way to do things. So generally nowadays people use App Engine Studio when they want to create an application. Now this is an easier interface, I would say. You just put some basic information. Let's just start it now. I'm just putting the name ServiceNow training 2 example or demo. Just for the minute. Similar interface here. It is just that few things are quicker. Few things are easy to select, user intuitive. You can select a template if you want to do. Now create app. I want to select data, experience, automation, security. I'm coming here. I can now, this opens up in a new window altogether. Now I can add data from here. Now how can I add data? I can add from here. I can see, do I need to upload a spreadsheet? Should I create it from an existing table or should I create from scratch? So I'll just select, for example, create. So you have all these 3 options, right? To add data. Continue. Which table do you want to use? Again, you can select any table, whatever you want to use, maybe task for now. Task, right? I can select. This table will be added. Table label. Now, what you want to use this table actually? Okay, so I say ServiceNow task. I can use the same name here. I can give any name. So it automatically took the name from my application which I created. 62521 X is there. So whenever you do a custom application, it is always there, right? Now, do you want to make it extensible, which means can other tables extend this? Yes, I want to do that. Can I auto number things based on the record submitted? I can do that. And what is the prefix I want to use? SER for now. Fair enough. Starting number is 1000. You can have 7-digit numbers. Whatever you can define it here. So it is so easy now to create an application from the scratch. It also, which means you don't need to remember what all things you have to do. System will automatically guide you. Okay, these are 10 things you have to do. So start doing them one by one, and you will all be good. Done. I've now experience. What experience I want to add? It's standard catalog item record. So do I show them catalog item? Do I show them workspace? Do I show them portal? Do I show them mobile experience? I can do anything. For example, I want to add a workspace. Now I've added a workspace. This gives you a very nice view in terms of overall things which you're working on. For example, get started. Now I have added experience. So in the experience range, it told you that what kind of experience do you want to add. This is what is more important to understand. So the rules are loading. Let the rules be loaded. So we are actually navigating from this screen to this screen to this screen to this screen. So all of these things are there. You have basic information. You have defined data. You have decided the experience. What kind of experience? Portal, workspace, catalog, record producer, whatever. Right? Choose who can access its experience. Right now, I say anybody who has ITL role can access it. Multiple. Right? I can give multiple. So maybe continue. Now, primary table is ServiceNow task, which is what you want to define a secondary table, you can define. If you don't want to define, fair enough, you move forward. You just define one table, topic closed. This is where you're creating the experience, you're creating the entire application from scratch. So the best part is it is completely guided. Everything is here. Now, experience has been created, not done. Add logic and automation. Do I want to add any workflows? I will not add it right now because build from scratch. Or maybe, there are so many automations already there. Send a notification to a workspace, post a weekly reminder, question approval for request catalog item. There's so many things which are already there. You can create your own new thing as well. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. Build from scratch. For example, I just select as on. Okay, so I don't have things installed right now, so I cannot do that. Because it sends a notification to different teams, right? So I will not do it for now. Maybe just see if I can do that. Add logic or not. So this is where after adding experience, I am adding logic and automation. So I'm saying Okay, let's define what happens when a flow runs. You can define anything. For example, this one, I say, ask the approval if the price is more than 1,000. So you're setting the flow, entire flow. So I will not go much into, just let me see, test flow, just putting something here. So we will not create a flow design completely right now because that takes its own time. But the idea is that this is what you are supposed to do when you create a custom application right from scratch. You define information, data, experience, logic, automation, security. This is the part which makes it most interesting, most successful. Done, submit. Do I need to do anything live need to use? No. So security I've defined already. Launch. Should I launch it? Submit. That might have not publish. Internal store administrator. So maybe I'm facing some problems right now while publishing it. But the idea is that this is how you it is asking me, should I publish it in ServiceNow Store or should I make this application available to my instances? Right now it is not working because of some reason, maybe some setting is not there. But the idea I think the whole concept of this app in Studio was to tell you that you can use this one to create a new application and you can submit it actually in the end, right? So for example, if I want to use this one, I can use this template. This is how you use a template. Use template and your application will be created based on this template completely. Let's use this template to create a new application. You can do that. So this is how you generally, so this is your application engine studio. This is how you generally do that particular part of custom application development. So we've just seen how to use guided application creator, how to use studio, how to use app engine studio, right? I'll just have a look a little later that why did not it get published, that maybe we can see tomorrow. But now, yeah, so that was the whole idea of custom application development. So I think this topic is also completed now. Do you have any questions in custom application development? Why do we do it? What do we do? How do we do it? Okay. Okay. All good. Right. Now, ServiceNow portal and virtual agent overview. So I think let's go back to this portal thing. I think I've already opened it somewhere. Let me see if it's already opened. No, not here, not here, not here. Okay. This is a portal which we have, right? And this is a portal which is used by the internal users of that organization where you've installed ServiceNow. For them, this portal is the main thing. So it is not used by the support teams because they work on this main instance, which is here. They work only on this instance to work on tasks. But yes, if you want to do something, request something from the interface, this is what you use. And now, earlier, if you remember, we did not have this particular chatbot. Now, if you go to any website nowadays, insurance websites or HDFC, ICC, whatever, right, you see the entire thing here that you are interacting with a virtual agent. Let me open, for example, HDFC Bank. Let me see this website. It works, right? So do you see this here? This is where you have virtual agent, right? Similarly, you have virtual agent in ServiceNow, right? So the idea, I'm just trying to give you a use case that why do we use something like this, right? Because there are so many questions for which you don't need to talk to an agent. You don't need to talk to anybody, or you don't need to do a lot of things. They are some known things, kind of frequently asked questions which people know about, and they can just click on things and they can ask those questions immediately. They don't need to kind of search it through their own navigation, right? So the best part with this agent is most of your queries can be answered. And how can you make it more effective? you can make it more effective by putting the right menus there, just making sure that you have done the right configuration so that agents, or sorry, the users, they can go one by one, step by step to whatever they're looking for. For example, what is the status of my ticket? I want to solve this problem. I do not know how to solve it. Then maybe you type the that particular text, and based on that, it will give you some knowledge articles. You can use that. You can mark it helpful. That is also you can do, right? You can give the entire menu. Okay, these are the 5 things I can. For example, this one, they're already giving you menu here. What are those things which they offer? So account services, link pen, Aadhaar. Once you ask this question, they'll tell you automatically that okay, do this step, do this step, do this step, and automatically. So the whole idea is, after this concept in the market, a lot of things have been automated or optimized further, right? So, and this same concept is given in ServiceNow. So I just took this example because in out of the box ServiceNow, you might not get everything just to showcase, but this is available nowadays. You book an airline, make my trip, whatever, right? It gives you this virtual agent option, which it feels that you're talking to somebody, all right? So it is actually not someone sitting in the backend. It is just an automation, a bot which is sitting in the backend, which tells you something which it already knows in terms of the known documentations or known frequently asked questions. It just gives you menu card to select this, go ahead, fix topic closed. So most of your questions can be actually resolved by using this concept. And that is why it is quite powerful, and that is why everybody is using it right now. Similarly, ServiceNow is using, for example, if I just do link pen Aadhaar, it'll give you so this is a known documentation. Can you see this here? This is the known documentation which tells you, okay, this is how you do it, right? Now, maybe if I just do pay bills, recharge, then okay, ask me a question. Okay, what are the options? I'm saying maybe postpaid bill, right? You'll give me other questions. How can I pay my postpaid bill? So all of these things are there. So now imagine the time you will consume. First of all, time and effort. You'll have to wait in the queue. You'll have to talk to them for 10-15 minutes. And you are wasting a resource there because he's telling you something which is readily available on your chatbot itself. Why do I need to call somebody and waste his time and my time as well to ask the same question, which I can be answered immediately, right? And it is all self. So this is where it's called a self-service. You can do your own self-service by just coming to this agent and ask questions. It will tell you what is to do. See, again, it has told you little questions. You can say like, dislike, did I like it? Did I not like it? All of that can be done. So all of this feedback mechanism is also there in the system. For the same purpose, you use ServiceNow agent, but then you have to configure it. Out of the box, it may not show you a lot of things. You have to configure it right now. So I have not configured it yet. So because again, that is a pure demo to the client. It says, okay, show me everything. So it can, what's the issue request? You can put the request number here. It'll tell you the latest status of that status. And how do you enable this? That's more important, because earlier I did not have it. I was not getting this particular pop-up button on my instance because I have not installed a plugin. Now I have to install plugin. Again, I think we have seen that already, that how do you, so whenever you are in doubt, okay, how do I do that? Then just type search how to activate virtual agent in ServiceNow. It will tell you all the plugin numbers. Go always here, activate virtual agent, for example, right? And just go here and see, look at the plugin name. So here the plugin name is com.glide. This is the sysid name and this is the real name. Search it from the plugin list and you install it. Once you install it, you'll get you just need to do some configurations, which it asks you to do after that. For example, it is telling that what is the procedure you have to do right after that. And you can enable it, you can configure it. Now, to make it live in reality, you need to do some kind of configurations in terms of how does it look like. Now, before even you configure it, there is one thing which you need to understand, that how do you enable. So for example, if you've enabled this plugin, even then, this particular option of clicking on chat will not come automatically. That will come only when you do, for example, service portal designer configuration. You have to come here. Once you come here, you have to select designer. Once you select designer, that is where you have to find out which page was it, right? So this page was actually your home page. I'm just saying it was home. Which home? It was, this was index. How do you know that? You know that because, for example, if I were to click here, can you see this here? It shows index. This is your home page, which you're looking for, right? And now you know that page, which page you're talking about. Just go here, select it, and you can configure it. So now if I, because I have already done it, so it will not be working for me now. So this is the one virtual agent service mobile widget, for the service portal widget. You just drag and drop it here, save it, and this widget will be automatically there. You might need to do some kind of configuration settings later on to ensure that it is working as expected, and all of the things which I wanted are there. So that it requires configuration. Again, it is out of scope for this particular class, because the whole idea of this class was to give you the idea how does it work. So you've seen, and then on the portal side, if I go back, right, so this is where you can see a lot of things. You can see the chat box which I talked about. You can do a knowledge-based search. You can get help. You can see announcements. You can see current status of few things. You can see my approvals, my open incidents, top rated articles. Now this is something quite configurable, which means if I want some more widgets here, based on my requirement, I can add them also using the same method which I just showed, which I was just talking about, designer thing, right? I can add any widget here and I can drag and drop here and it will work for me. This is how your ServiceNow virtual agent works. And it is a very powerful platform for end users. That is why it is important to configure it correctly and make it look appealing so that people start using it. And then for them, it becomes a self-serve, right? They can immediately raise requests, raise a catalog item, report an incident, chat with you. They can do a lot of things here. So this is where it becomes all the more important to configure it. This is a use case of the portal, and you can see this is SP service portal. So that is where you see this entire thing. And as I've shown you already here, that when I click on service portal, this is where I have to go service portal home. So when I clicked on home, that was the screen which I got actually, where I could see all that request catalog and all that, right? So which means, do you have any questions in any of these topics? I mean, custom application development, ServiceNow portal, ServiceNow virtual agent over here. Any questions in any of these topics? No, right? So now we'll talk about ServiceNow mobile apps. I'll just, we'll start that in just few minutes, yeah? Right. So we're talking about ServiceNow mobile apps. Now I'm showing you how does it look like. So I have installed these three apps. One is mobile, now mobile, second is agent, and third is onboarding. So remember we talked about this. There are three apps in ServiceNow mobile apps. There are a few more which are especially for BlackBerry, Intune, especially for secure networks. We'll not go into that because the functionality remains same. It is just that it adds an additional layer for security to connect that application. So we will focus more in terms of what is that functionality which you're looking for, right? Now this Now mobile app was primarily for the end users who want to raise something on that request. Now I clicked on it. When I clicked on it, can you see these options, right? It shows you visit tech lounge, office entry code, holiday calendar, events. It also shows you tasks, which tasks I have. I have a laptop request. I have a mobile data plan request. So many things, right? So if I go back, you can see requests also. What are my requests? These are requests I've added. I've used a demo account. I mean, ServiceNow itself gives you a demo account. So when you download the application, there are options. Either you connect your instance and with a user ID, or else you use that, try the demo account option, which is there also, which we can do, right? So you can see tasks, request, assets. You can see what assets do I have. I have a computer, I have a monitor, for example. Now you can see team. These are the team members which I have to contact. These are my people, right? So, and services, if I want to see services, what are the popular services? You have all these services on top. This is where you submit an issue, right? So then you see this, right? The entire interface is a little different from the portal. And that is why, because it is quite designed for mobile, right? So the way it has to browse, you have to just see the things, it's a little different, but this gives you a very good flexibility on the fly, on the run. You have this mobility. And you can immediately log a request. You can raise an incident, right? I can do anything from here. I can go here, submit issue. I can raise an incident. So there will be an incident which will be raised in system. Now let this form get populated. Just taking a little time. This is your mobile agent sorry, it is your mobile app, which is used by the end users, right? And this is where you submit the issue. You can add attachment also, whatever you want, right? So these are your different services you can see. So it is, again, as I said, for the end users, they can see all the categories: benefits, career, facilities, hardware, payroll. I would go to hardware, I can go to hardware. So this is what I can do, right? If I were to see here, I can select notifications. I don't have any notification this time. I can select it, right? I can see my profile here. So this is, again, it is a demo account. As I said, it is not my personal account, but yeah, you can try it with a demo account, or else you can try it with your instance. You already have instance, you create a user there, and then access it with that user. That also you can do. This is your mobile app. Now this is the agent app. When I say agent app, again, I've used a demo account here. Now it says you, okay, case. And when you select any of these apps, it gives you an option to select the persona. Okay, are you an IT director, or you an executive? You are a help desk agent. In this case, I just selected customer service agent, and I just need to see cases that need attention. So these are the open cases, escalated cases, right? I can see that immediately from here. I can see all the cases that need attention with the list view. I can see it here, right? I want to see active critical cases. I can see here. I can go into a particular case. I can see, okay, this is what is happening in this case. What is the product group, activity related? So all of those things, right? Even SLAs, you can see that what SLA is in progress, the escalations. You can see all of that. It was escalated because of this reason. Customer imposed deadline. So that is how this particular thing works on mobile, right? Active cases, new cases, change requests. How many change requests do you have? Notifications, do you have any? So again, you can change your persona, whatever you want, which is what is something I'm not showing right now, because when you open the applications the first time after installing it, you just need to select a persona. Whatever persona you want to select, you can select it. It completely depends on us, right? So that is how it is. Now, on the last point, I mean, in this onboarding app, I don't have a, I would say, there is no demo account with which you can see it. So which means you have to use your own account. No, okay. Give me just. I was talking about this. I have shown you two apps. One was mobile, now mobile, which was for end users. Second was mobile agent, which is used by the support teams who are fixing the issues at runtime on the mobile. And third option is mobile onboarding app. So right now it is not working on my mobile. I've installed it, but yeah, it does not seem to log in right now. So this is what you do. So generally this mobile onboarding app is actually, am I sharing my screen? I was not sharing my screen. Yeah. So generally what it does is it is used for completing or onboarding tasks. So whenever you join a new organization, this
Alok, yeah, right now I can see your screen. Just now it wasn't visible.
Right. So it is a complete onboarding task, which means whenever you have a new onboarding for any employee, they are given this application and then they start doing things one by one. You can see what are things I have to do as a part of this particular photo, what documents I need, what what all benefits I have. So all of those things, which generally any new. So this is how it looks like. Even the chat. I found some information, benefit available to you, retirement things. You can ask all those questions. You can see all of that information, right? And this is how it works. So this is where you have now mobile onboarding app, and then you just install these three apps in your mobile and just try it done. For the first two apps, demo account does work. For the third app, you might need to create account separately and then log in accordingly. Then it works for that. But then one more thing we see, it clearly tells you that mobile onboarding is being deprecated, which means they are that is why maybe I'm not able to log in, because I've just installed that before this class, and it is not working for me because they're not supporting it anymore. That might be one of the reasons. Okay. So which means that we have completed the entire prescribed syllabus by ServiceNow for data service till here. So we are completed till here. Now we just need to see something over and above the normal training, which is ITSM overview and ServiceNow ITSM modules, which we'll see from tomorrow onwards. Any questions before we stop the training today? Okay. So which means I think thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye.